YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Mirror back with another trading video. And in this video, I'm about to show you how to trade supply and demand in 2024, right? So supply and demand is a trend trading strategy. You can trade it on any time frame from the 5 minutes to the 15 to the 30 to the hour to the 4 hour, any time frame. Supply and demand is a scalping strategy that I use it for. I know some people who use it as an intraday trading strategy, which means they take their supply and demand entry and they'll hold it throughout the day. With me, I'm taking my entry and I'm trying to hold it for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, most of the time, not even that long, and get out of the trade. So, this is a strategy that I learned from Doyle Exchange and also my man Jut. He was the one who baby stepped me through the strategy. Doyle Exchange is the person who created the strategy. I just took some of it and added my own tweaks and things to it to create my own strategy based off of Doyle's strategy. So, as a trader, you'll start to understand that you can't just take somebody's strategy. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work to understand the details on why this person is taking this trade and understand the meaning behind the strategy. You cannot just say, I trade supply and demand after watching this video and then take these setups, which already haven't, and then think that you know what you're doing. You have to understand the price action. Supply and demand is a price action strategy. It is strictly price action. Yes, you can use certain indicators to help you out. I don't use too many, but it's strictly mainly price action. So let's hop into the charts. I have about 7 or 8 setups we're gonna break down, and we're gonna about to show supply and demand. Excuse me. All right, so let's get into the charts. Okay, so supply is heavy selling, demand is heavy buying. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna zoom in. We have heavy selling to the downside. Okay, so we're gonna mark up where that selling started from, which is right here. We are waiting for price to come back to our zone. And then once it rejects from our zone, we're taking our sell. So we'd be looking at something like this. And with that, you're looking at about a 1 to 7.3, right? So we have supply, we have heavy selling to the downside. It comes back to our zone. See, it started here, came down, came all the way down here, started making its way back up, made its way back up, and it's made its way back up to here, which is where it originally started at. Once we see it rejecting from where it started at, that's when we're getting in for ourselves. For a supply, heavy selling, we mark up the area where the selling started at. Once it comes back to our zone, we're getting in for the sell when it rejects off the area that we previously marked up. Let's look at another example. Okay, here we go again. Supply, right? We have heavy selling to the downside. This move started right here, took off. We marked it up. We marked up our zone. We waited for price to come all the way back to our zone. Look at this crazy white candle right here. What time was that, bro? What? Do you see how big this candle is? This is at 12 o'clock in the morning on January 2nd. I don't know what happened at 12 o'clock in the morning on January 2nd, but God, oh, no, the day after the New Year, the bank opened back up. What are the odds of that? So we have heavy selling. This is where it started from. It came back. It tapped into our zone. Our zone is where the selling started from because this is a supply. Once it rejects off our zone, we're getting in for the sell. And this is what you can hold. You can get out of 1-to-1. You can get out of 1-to-2. You can hold until it comes down and breaks your structure down here, which it did. And that would have been a 1 to 7.56. Supply and demand. This is supply and demand. This candle happened on the 28th. This is the 2nd. So if you would have had that zone marked up and you would just wait it and just relaxed and just waited for that zone, price came back and tapped into it, and it literally took off. Like you barely seen any drawdown at all. So that's a beautiful trade. All right, here we go. We have two demands. Let's break down this one first. All right. So a demand. When it comes to a demand, is the opposite of a supply. So in a demand, we have heavy buying. So buying started from this area right here. It came, consolidated for a little bit, came back down to our zone. Our zone is where our price action started, or the demand started at. So demand started right here. Boom. Price came back to this area. Now we're getting in for a buy. And boom. There it is. So that's like a 1 to 10. And same exact thing. You could be aiming for right here. Aim for the previous high. And that's a beautiful these are beautiful trades. Here's an example of a demand that you took, boom, and create another demand that you could have took again. So again, we have heavy buying. Screen's going crazy. My fault. We got heavy buying from here. Boom. Price came back to our zone here. We can get rid of this. Came back to our zone. Right when it rejects off our zone, we're getting in for a buy. Stop loss at the bottom of the zone. And that ended up being a 1, 2, 4. So you could have got 1 to 4 while you were in the trade, create another demand that you took the following day and got you a 1 to, if you had held to it, broke the previous high, a 1 to 5. So it's a 1 to 3.56 and a 1 to 5 in back-to-back days. Sorry, it's like 5 days apart. That's 8% in 5 days. Some hedge funds don't get 10% in a year. We're talking about 8% in 5 days. Okay. Let's see if we have any more setups. See if there's anything I missed. Yep, there you go right there. Boom. What we got here? We have heavy selling to the downside. Boom. Excuse me. Comes back to our zone. We get in for a sell. It's actually, I came back and got you right here. But it gave you what you needed. I'm pretty positive it gave you at least a 1 to 1. Yeah, absolutely. It gave you a 1 to 2. There you go. Heavy selling. Came back to the area where it originated from. Rejected from that area. We get in for the sell. If it's heavy selling, when it rejects from the area we marked up, we're getting in for a sell. If it's heavy buying, if it rejects from the area that we marked up, we're getting in for a buy. Sell, supply, red. Buy, demand, white. I say that because my selling candles, my bearish candles are red and my bullish candles are white. That's the only reason why I'm using those two colors in this example, just to clarify. But let's see if we have another setup, and here we go. This is a beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. These are the setups that I love to take. So we have heavy selling from here. We have heavy selling coming out of this area right here. Boom. We have it broke the structure. Boom. So that's great. We love to see that. Came back to our zone, nice and easy, right here. Boom. We get in for so what we getting in? What are we getting in? We have heavy selling, a bunch of red candles. We're getting in for a supply, which is a sell. So boom. We're gonna get in for our sell right when it rejects off the zone. And this trade kind of scared you a little bit, gave you a little bit of drawdown, but stop loss back of the zone, and the rest is history. Comes down, breaks the previous low that I just made, and we love that. We absolutely love that. This might now we got one, two. What we got three more setups. We got three more setups to go to. All right. What we got? Buying, heavy buying. Starting from this area, boom, taking off. It's another great trade. Comes back to this area. Boom, it came back. Oh, sorry, wrong symbol. Came back to our area. Boom, this is beautiful. Came straight down. Rejected off of our area right here. So we have heavy buying, white candles. It comes back to our zone. It rejects off our zone. It's a demand. We're getting in for a buy. Getting in from the buy here. Let's change this for our stop loss, bottom of the zone, and there we go. Nice and easy. Came back tapped. You would have got a nice clean 1 to 3.58. If you let it play around for a little bit, you would have got a little bit less than that. Like say you didn't take profit right here and you went to hold it until it broke this high and it never did, then you would have got stopped out. So you should close with some type of profit in this area. Don't let it come, or at least if it goes this high, put your stop loss, break even. You feel me? Don't let the trade go 3% in profit and you still taking a loss on that. That theoretically doesn't make sense. So don't do that. You can keep that back on there. All right, let's check out this next setup. All right, here we go. So we have selling out of this area. Boom. Comes back to our zone. Boom. It's another one of these beautiful trades. So you know it's a beautiful trade when it does stuff like this. I'm about to break it down to you. So when it's a supply, okay, makes it a supply right here. It comes back and taps the zone. When you get in, you want to aim for a 1-to-1. So what exactly does that mean? All right, so your stop loss, you see how it says 3.88? That means if you were to risk $1,000, you would get 3.88 times that. So you would get $3,880 in return. So we usually go for a 1-to-1, sometimes a 1-to-2, sometimes a 1-to-3. It all depends on the market. It all depends on the price action. But usually we go for a 1-to-1. That's about right. Of course, we're going to play around. It's somewhere right there. So we have 1.03. This is basically a 1-to-1. That means you're getting your reward is exactly how much you're willing to risk. So if I risk 500, my TP is 500. If I risk 50,000, my TP is 50,000. So it's all a matter of how much you want to risk, how much you want to go for. You want to go for a 1-to-1, a 1-to-2, a 1-to-3, and then how much do you want to risk? So we got, I think, one more setup. Yes, the last setup. So we have heavy selling coming out of this area. Heavy selling is a supply. We wait for price to come back to our area. This might be an amazing trade. You really wanted to break the previous low, but this previous low was right here, and that was broken, so that's also good. But we really wanted to break down here and try to hold that thing all the way down here. That'd be nice. But it comes back, boom, taps into the zone, and go short. So we're gonna go for a sell. Stop loss back at the zone. Yeah, this was a beautiful trade. I don't act like it wasn't. No, okay, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful trade. I'm sorry, it was beautiful because this went to a one of damn near. This went to a one of 14.5. Heavy selling comes back to where zone originated from. Doesn't break out the zone. Drops down. If this candle, so let's zoom in so I can show y'all something I should have said previously by then, and I apologize. So say one of these candles, this candle right here came and went like that. The zone's invalid. We don't take that trade. As long as it stays in the premises of the zone, we're good. We enter. Right when it rejects out of the zone, we enter. Stop loss back of the zone, and we hold for whatever we're holding for. But if any of these candles come back and break through the zone, it's invalid. I'm gonna go through all these setups and show that. So boom, that would have been invalid if it did that. Okay. If this candle right here, this white candle came back and shot out like that, I keep doing the blue. I know we want to do the blue arrow. If this white candle came and went like that, that is now invalid. We do not take that setup. That's invalid. Do not take the setup if it breaks out of the zone. Next, so if this red candle would have came down, or this white wick would have came and wicked out the zone like that, invalid. The zone has to hold. It has to reject off the zone for us to get in for this trade. Don't let this candle come and break through the zone and then you're waiting to get into the trade. No, it don't work like that. Once it breaks out the zone, the setup is invalid. If this candle was to come back, push through, invalid. But it didn't. It came and rejected right here, wicked, came down. If this white candle right here was to go straight through, boom, invalid. But it didn't. Didn't mean to do that. 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 All right, so I don't know what example. All right, cool. So if this candle would came out of here, invalid. And that's actually the last setup. So supply and demand is a trend trading strategy. It is very successful. Like it's very successful. You see these trades. Selling, heavy selling. Back to the zone. Reject, we're in, banger. Heavy selling. Back to the zone. Reject, we're in, banger. Heavy buying. Back to the zone. Rejects, we're in, banger. Heavy buying. Comes back to the zone. Rejects, we're in, banger. You feel me? Heavy selling. Comes back to the zone. Doesn't break the zone. Rejects off of it, banger. Heavy selling. Come back to this zone. Reject off. We in. Banger. Heavy buying. Comes back. Damn. Real heavy buying. Heavy buying. Comes back to the zone. Rejects. Pushes out. Boom. Banger. Heavy selling. I'll do both, please. heavy. Heavy selling. Heavy selling. Back to the zone. Banger. Back to the zone. Banger. Supply and demand. I will be truly honest. This is actually the first strategy I've learned, and it's bread and butter. I wouldn't change it for the world. I understand people have a million strategies, and everybody trades what they trade. But to me personally, supply and demand is going to make 2024 my best trading year ever. I promise that. But YouTube, you already know. It's your boy Mir. Thank you for watching. Mir out.